And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sundays. We started off doing this program a little bit, but then I went to New York and we haven't done it since. So this is the second episode, and so I appreciate you joining. We're doing things a little bit differently for just Sundays only. Where Sundays where I believe that we should work together to build success. It's fun to play video games. It's fun to, hang out and stuff like that. But part of my mission and the stream and stuff like that is to help other people. And I want you guys to be successful as much as I want to be successful. So this is where, much like the podcast and everything, we can get together, share ideas, and, we only get one go around in life, right? And we can really hone in experiences, knowledge, and stuff to live a better life and stuff like that. And but a great way to restart the segment, by the way, in a brand new year. Holy moly, it is 2022. Can you believe that we're already here? Another year already ticking away. We're already going to be on the second week of January? That is crazy. And I think I like New Year's because it's kind of like a new beginning. It's a new start. And a lot of times people take it as a new beginning, new start. And that's kind of what I want to talk about with you today. The chat's open. Don't be afraid to be in the chat. You can leave your comments in there. Chime in the conversation. Because this is not me talking at you. It's not me preaching at you, but rather we're having a conversation. We're building a community. Not only do we hang out and have good times, but we have success. And I think it's so important that we set up each day, each week up for success. And if this can be that channel to help you, motivate you to do that, then by all means, I am thrilled. And the purpose of this stream today and these segments is lived. So, I would like to know in the chat, if you're watching this live or you're watching this in the future, the conversation is always continued at Dr.Grande.com. But what are your New Year's resolutions? What are you hoping to accomplish this year? That is something that I would love to know, and I'm going to share with you. And I did in the podcast. If you're not in tune with our podcast, get in touch with that. But I kind of let you guys know what can't speak today. What I was planning for this year and what my New Year's resolution. I'm going to share more of that today. But today's word of the day, and the word that keeps coming up in my mind when I was thinking about 2022, and around the time November ends, and about the time December begins, I start focusing and start thinking about, oh my God, it's going to be another year, and particularly since 2019 was such a crazy year. 2020 was such a crazy year. I was like, okay, we got to do something different. I mean, there's probably going to be some level of uncertainty with coronavirus and stuff like that, but I felt like it didn't have to be my uncertainty. It didn't have to be my way the uncertainty, the craziness that seems to be going on in our world didn't have to be affecting my potential for success and what I wanted to get out this year. So I started thinking about what is this year, and the theme of the year for me is purpose. And like any term, I like looking at the definition, and the definition that I'm looking at for purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. So the question tonight is, like I asked myself, I'm going to ask you, in 2022, what is your purpose? If you had to write down a sentence, my purpose of 2022 is, what would that purpose be? Why would you want that purpose? And have you figured that out? Because a lot of times people just, they're just hoping. They're just have an idea in mind, and they're just like, I just wish it would come through. Or if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Or whatever will be, will be. And you can live that lifestyle. There are many people who do. But what I would want to encourage you, and what I want to just kind of instill in you tonight, is that if you do it with purpose, if you take 2022 with purpose, the things you're thinking of mind to the response of what is your purpose, what things you want to get out of 22 can become realities. And I've talked to so many people about this in preparation for today's stream, and just in general, friends and stuff, about like, what are you excited about the year? And I think I've taken the pulse of 2022, and it's very low. The pulse for 2022 is low because, you have one black guy from one year, and then you got another black guy for the other year, and this year you're just like, I don't care. I'm lucky to pay my taxes this year. And hopefully that's not your mindset. But I want to get you excited. And I want to get you motivated for all the potential that awaits you in 2022. And believe me, there are potential, and are things that are out there for the taking, but you have to be proactive and move with a purpose to acquire them. And I just want to remind you of that. And a lot of times I've talked to friends, and they think they need the special talent. They think they need to have the right phone, the right job title, the right suit, whatever. But let me just say that you have the destination in mind. You know where you want to end up. You know what you want to acquire in 2022. And even if you don't, you'll figure it out. But don't fall through the pit, the trap that you think that you need stuff before you begin, because I want to say you got to appreciate where you are right now. And for those of you who think that you're in the lowest of low of part of life right now, you feel like your luck has just ran out. It doesn't have to be that way. That's not the final chapter in your story. But you have everything you will need to reach that destination, whether you believe me or not at this moment. Believe me, you do. But what you have to do is remember that where you want to go is a journey. You want to end up at a particular destination that you may look in the mirror and go, oh, there's no chance in hell that's going to happen. The reason for that is because you're not in that image. And the reason for you not being in that image is that it's not because you lack something, it's that the skills that you see in that image are not developed. You see the difference? So what I'm saying is that through this proactive and moving with the purpose mentality, you start to develop those skills. You start to hone in those connections, those resources that will propel you to your destination. So what I just want to say is, let's take a step back, okay? And let's figure out a game plan. And 90% of the battle is creating the habits and the commitment to do it even when you don't feel like doing it. You know how it is some mornings where you get up and you're just like, oh man, I don't really want to study today. Oh, I don't really want to do this today. I believe me, I have those days too. But it's that unwavering commitment and to keep that purpose in your mind each and every day that allows you to keep moving and reach the final goal. Because every time you do procrastination, you put it off, you're just like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. You're not hurting anybody but yourself. You're robbing yourself one more day that you could have made it towards the destination. And so my question is, why are we okay of putting our hopes on dreams on hold? Why do we rob out of our pocket, and why do we rob ourselves of our time for things that, one, don't even matter or even contribute to the overall purpose? We do it all the time. I'm guilty of it. I'll be in the middle of something, right? I'll be in the middle of something, and then, someone will call me, and then, I'm dropping everything I'm doing, and then I go run off and do whatever they wanted to do, and then I come back, and I'm like, oh, man, I haven't moved anywhere, and I get frustrated, and there's no reason why I would be moving closer, because I'm not doing what it is I have to do. And so I think if you have that purpose in mind, and I really would recommend if you like to be proactive, if you're really serious about your goals this year, which I think you should figure out what goals you're really serious about, is that you remind yourself what your purpose, and you wake up every day with a purpose. Say, today I'm going to accomplish this. Today I'm going to do that. Because if you do that, you give yourself a goal, you give yourself a purpose versus just, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. You see the action between proactively seeking your goals and your dreams and then non-proactively doing it, which takes a hell of a lot more time to do. I think if we're more proactive in the things we believe in and things we want in life, we can achieve it much sooner than we think. And I think a lot of times people just settle. They want the low-hanging fruit. They want the things that are easy, the quick things that get done fast. But not everything we want comes so easily. And so one of the habits that I've been getting into and I'm forming myself into this year is a routine, a daily routine where I wake up consistently at the same time, go to bed at the same time, and I plan it in such a way that I feel it maximizes my day. Now, you don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning like I do, but I like to get up 4 o'clock in the morning because I like to give myself enough time to accomplish so much I want to do. And then I break that long-term goal into little chunks that I do every day. So by the time 6 months, 5 months, a year goes down the road, I am just that closer to either being at my goal or being closer to my goal. And I think a lot of times when we think about 2022 and purpose and all that stuff, sometimes we get overwhelmed by our ideas. We go, oh, I'm very ambitious. And there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, by the way. I like being ambitious. I like being not holding myself to limits. And a lot of people do limit. They're just like, oh, I'm settled for this when you can have so much more. So why settle for limits? Why put limits on you when you deserve so much more? You got to be you got to be bold. Come on. You got to be willing to go after what you want in life. And you got to be able to believe, not in people, resources, tools, but you got to be able to believe in yourself. So you need to start believing. That's where it all starts. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, I would encourage you to go listen to the podcast. The first and second episode of the Dr.Grande podcast talks about that, about the power of believing in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, right, there's confidence, there's self-value, there's that determination. You don't allow people to define your worth. You define your own self-value. And when you're at that point, you can afford and dare to dream, to be ambitious with your goals. And once you get that step out of the way, you got to kind of create a daily commitment where you're committed to accomplishing certain aspects that lead to your goal. So the question again, the overwhelming question for today is, what is your purpose? And I think you should define what your goals are and define a purpose for each day to ensure that you are being optimal today, that you are being productive today, because it's easy to just let time go by so fast, just burn a day, just like, oh, I'm not doing anything today. And I think that a lot of times those are the making or breaking points of being able to say we had a successful year, being able to say we obtained our goal, we succeeded, or we failed, is because we just burn time. And that's the most valuable resource. That's the most fundamental key, in addition to the commitment, in addition to figuring out what you want to do, is to manage your time. And I'm still working on it. And I think I'm getting better, but if you saw me before, it's night and day difference. It is a world of difference, and it makes a world of difference when you can manage that. So let me just encourage you to just look at what 2022 is. And if you're like, oh, it's 2 weeks into it, it's too late. Or if you watch this 6 months into 2022, or even after 2022, and you're like, oh, it's too late, just note that, yeah, ideally, people think that the fresh start of the year is a great time, but it's never too late to start. And I think you need to start. Doesn't matter what time of the year it is. It doesn't matter who's starting when and when they started and all that stuff. You need to start. So let's get you started. Let's jumpstart 2022. Let's change the mindset of 2022. Yeah, there might be horrible things going on in this world. There might be coronavirus. There might be political unrest. But doesn't mean that you can't move forward and unlock potentials and live the life that you want to live. The dreams, the ambitions that you have in your heart. So, yeah, it's good to be informed and be aware of all that stuff, but let's not let the distractions deter you from your goals. Let's not let all the noise weed out your ambitions and your desires that you want to accomplish. So let's dedicate the time where you need to. And step one this year, and we'll continue to bring other people and kind of get other insights in future episodes on the segment. But let's just figure out what you want to do this year. Really ask yourself, what is, if 2022 is going to end tomorrow, or when 2022 ends, what is the one thing or two or three things that you want to say you have accomplished? What is that goal that you've been putting off and just talk about all the time but never do anything about it? So the difference in the transition period between having ideas and having results is action. And sometimes you have to put mass amount of actions into those ideas to bring them forth into realities. And that is something that is hard. But if you develop the right habits and you develop a routine and you commit to it every day. And now when I say when you commit to it every day, it doesn't mean it has to be 10 hours every day. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours a day. Just as long as you're doing something every day and not letting it go by. Because if you're willing to fight for someone else's dream, work for someone else and expand their company, why can't you afford to expand your dreams, your ideas, your ambitions? Aren't you just as equally important as working someone else's dream and ambitions or ideas? I think you are. And I think this is important. And, I wish that people would have had this discussion when I was younger, not to sound like I'm an old fuddy-duddy, but I think that people just, if they start having these kind of ideas and ambitions and the discipline earlier in life, there's so much more they can accomplish. Like the sky's the limit. And even if you're not, if you're watching this and you're not, my age, or maybe you're much older than me, doesn't mean it's too late for you either. We can all accomplish everything we want if we're willing to put the actions behind our words, ideas. If we were to roll up our sleeves and take the step. And a lot of people, the first problem is they don't want to take the first step. They psych themselves out. They care too much what other people think of them or their idea that are failing, that they don't even take the first step. And so they live their whole life with just the idea and stuff in their mind, but they never do anything to make it happen. So let's just commit to each other. I'm committed to you and you're committed to me. Let's hold each other accountable to take that first step, to dare to take that first step. And even if you don't have anything figured out, which a lot of people they don't take steps till they have everything figured out. That's the idealistic way of doing things. But if you do that, you're never going to go, because you have to learn some things on the way. I'm starting a new venture, which I'll talk about in a future episode in life, that I had no idea. But I just simply asked a question and inquired information and learned so much by taking a first step that it's propelled me into something great. So let me ask of all those who are just like, Doc, I have those great ideas. I have those ambitions in my heart, but I just don't know where to begin. Let me just say, you have to have all the options laid out and just ask the question. Find a resource. Talk to somebody. But if just sitting there and you're going, I don't know anything, you think it's going to change, or one day the answer's going to fall from the sky. It's not going to happen. So this week, to get on track, to get that purpose, figure out what your purpose for 2022 is. What habits do you need to align, change, or make routine that will allow you to do it daily and commit to it daily? And if you're in the position where I don't know, what are at least 3 sources that you can go to start beginning the information process? There are people like, I don't know if I should do education. I don't know if I should do this. If I did education, I don't know where I would start. Okay. If you feel like you want to do education, start inquiring. Talk to your university. Talk to friends who went to college, who went to that trade school, who are in that profession. You got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And I think every year, and New Year's especially, should want to force us out of those comfort zones into something new. And I just have the mindset, I always want to be learning. I always want to be out of my comfort zone to be growing. Because if you're always in your comfort zone, you're not growing, you're not developing, you're not acquiring anything new. And I think you deserve to do that. So let me just challenge you with this task this week. What do you want to do 2022? What is your purpose for 2022? How can you break that up into daily chunks? How can you set a routine and the habits what are the habits and routine you need to make that a reality? So that is what I want to see and encourage you to do. It'd be so awesome. So awesome if next week we come in here and there's people who've shared what they thought about, shared their New Year's resolution, shared what changes they're planning to make, and we can kind of keep each other accountable. Like for instance, I love language learning, and Spanish is part of my culture and my mom's side of the family. And, I never really learned it when I was a kid, but I can understand it. But I'm working to get better at speaking it. So I've created a daily routine. I've sought out resources. And 2022, I'm going to be my goal is to be conversationally fluent more than I am now. I want to develop that. I just don't want to be okay and just understand it and can get by. I want to speak it as well as I'm speaking to you in English, if not better than I speak in English. I just have high standards for myself. There's nothing wrong with having high standards for yourself. Get over those limits. Stop putting roadblocks in front of you. Break through the limits, break through the roadblocks, and allow yourself to show all the capability and potential and talents you really have. Don't filter yourself. Don't limit yourself. Break through the limits. This is your year. I seriously believe that. If you're willing to ignore all that crap and go after what you want, you'll be amazed, 1, the results, and 2, you'll develop the habit of being able to set goals and accomplishing them. And let's set up 2022 to be that year. If it's your first year of being successful, great. Extra emphasis on it. If you were successful in the past, but times got away from you, let's get back on that routine. If you're continuing to have success, let's hone in and see how we can even have more success. There's room for improvement and growth on every level. And I just want to help you, and you can help me on that growth and on that road. Then we are just going to be awesome. I have big hopes for 2022. I have big dreams and aspirations for 2022, and I hope you do too, because I'm not only hoping for me for success and all the great things in 2022, but I'm hoping that for you as well. So, purpose. Get up with a purpose. Work every day purpose. Work it. Write it down. Write down your habits. Write down your goals. What do you need to accomplish by the end of each day? And move closer and closer and closer to your goals and your ambitions to making realities. Okay? All right, guys. So we'll leave it there today. Thank you so much for watching. Whether you're watching us live or you're watching us on YouTube in the future or wherever you get these podcasts or video casts, I appreciate each and every one of you. And please join me again for next Sunday for where we can grow together as a community and we start our week out successfully, because success starts on Sundays. Thank you, guys.